Hello and welcome to the Beth Emanuel Virtual Kollel, this time with audio, which should be a nice added benefit. Here I am. This is Aaron, and I'm studying the Parashah this week, which is Parashah Shoftim. And in this week's Parashah, it begins in Deuteronomy 16, verse 18. And so let's get to studying it right now. I'll share my screen with you so you can follow along on Sefaria. And here we are in the book of Deuteronomy, and Devarim in Hebrew, and we're on Perek Tet Zayin. That means 16, and we're looking for verse Yod Chet 18, and that is right here. So let's start reading. I'll read it to you first, and then we'll break it down. Shoftim v'shotrim titen lecha bechol she'arecha asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha lishvatecha v'shaftu et ha'am mishpat tzedek. All right, so let's take a look at each word. Shoftim is a noun. You can see it's plural. A lot of plural masculine nouns end in im in Hebrew, and then the main root is shofet. It gets shortened down to shoft when you add in the plural ending. Shofet, it comes from the verb meaning to judge, and so this is a judge, somebody who judges. So shoftim, judges, are a part of the government of the Jewish people. Shoftim. So the root means to judge, to make decisions, to decide, to rule, those kinds of things, to make a ruling. I mean, so the next word is similar. You could see vishotrim. It starts with v, which means and then it's plural again, like shoftim. We have shotrim, and so the root of this is shoter. Shoter. So shofet and shoter. Shoter is an officer, an enforcer. So not only are the judges making rulings, but those rulings need to be put into place by some kind of law enforcement, which is the shotrim, or police, you might even say. Titen lecha, so two words here. Titen, this comes from the root natan. You can actually see it up here. Natan means to give, and this is now second person imperfect, so it's like a future tense. So you shall give. Now, give maybe is not the right translation here. The word natan has a lot of different possible translations. It can mean to give, to appoint, to allow. So in this case, it's going to be something to the effect of appointing or setting up. And so you shall appoint, and lecha means for yourself or for you. It means it's got the root l, and cha is it's got the prefix l, which means two or four, and cha, it means you. So for yourself. So you are to appoint judges and officers for yourself. Bechol she'arecha. So this word, bechol is, well, the word chol here means all of. Normally kol by itself means all, but then it's connected into this word, so it's bechol and then of that, and so it's all of. And b means something to the effect of in. So bechol, in all of, and she'arecha. This is it's got the ending, your ending. So cha, sort of similar to this ending. Cha here means for you. Here it's on a noun, so it's your. And now the word itself is plural. The noun itself is plural, so that's what this yod is doing here. But the singular form is sha'ar. A sha'ar is a gate. So it's your gates, right? Now, it's kind of a weird concept in my head. When I think of a gate, I think of like a what the chain link fence gate, something like that, right? Why would your officers and your judges be in a gate? But of course, we're talking about the gate of a city, which is, the city walls are massive, thick, and then there's actually chambers in there. And so the courts were held in those chambers the name for a court of law or that area just became referred to as gates. So it doesn't actually mean a gate necessarily the way we think of it, but it's really in your chambers of law and order, your courts. So so you are to appoint in all of your gates, in all your courthouses, maybe. Asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha. Okay, Asher, this is the relative pronoun. We translate it as something like that, or which, or where, or when. But it's just describing what comes before it. What gates are we talking about? The gates that the Lord your God, this is the name of God, and this means your God. So the Lord your God, noten. So noten is similar to this titen. It's give, but here it's in that participle. So it's something like giving or gives. Lecha, to you. That's the same as this. So you are at a point for you. Now he's giving for you. Le is 2 or 4, and cha meaning you. All right. So the gates that the Lord your God is giving you. Lishvatecha. Okay. Let's take off the prefix li. This means for. Again, same as this one. So, and now just like she'arecha, as that echa ending, that means your. It's the echa ending here. It means your, and it's a plural noun. And the root of it is shevet. Shevet is a tribe, or it can be like the staff of a tribe, but it's, in this case, it's actual tribes. So it's plural, so tribes. And now it's your tribes with echa and for in the beginning. So for your tribes, right? Or to your tribes. So the gates that the Lord your God is giving to you, to your tribes. Great. Okay. Vishaftu. Now this is a verb. Notice that it contains the same letters as the noun. So Hebrew is based on verbal roots. I refer to them sometimes, and we'll often refer to them in Hebrew as shoresh. So you can clearly see the shoresh principle in this verse. We have shin and pei or fe and tet, and those 3 letters make a verbal root meaning to judge. So in a verb like this, it's simply judge, and you can see, okay, without the vav, if it just said shaftu, it would mean they judged. It's like a perfect or past tense. The u makes it plural. But because of the vav, it happens as often in Hebrew, it's now in a form that has the opposite sense, as a more of an imperfect sense. And the way that Hebrew works in imperfect or future sense can be used as a command. So they are to judge. All right. So these are judges as a noun, but this is the root, or this is a verb meaning they shall judge. Right. So you can see the connecting letters. The 3, and whenever you're trying to parse out or figure out the meaning of a Hebrew word, it's really good to try to find those 3 letters. Most of the time, it is a 3-letter root. Now, sometimes some of those letters may be missing, and that is what makes it challenging. Like here in this word titen, I said the root of this is natan, like this word here, but the noon dropped off, and that will sometimes happen. But you'll get used to how that happens, and certain letters have more of a propensity for dropping off like that. But anyway, shaftu, they shall judge. Et, and we've talked about this many times before, whatever comes et just indicates what's the object, the direct object of this verb. So whom are they to judge is the question. Et is going to point us in that direction, and the answer is ha'am. So ha means it's the definite article, if you want to get technical. And means people, like a nation. So maybe you've heard of the song Am Yisrael Chai, or the phrase Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel lives. It's people like a nation, not people like the plural of person, but more like a people group, a people, a nation, right? So that's who the judges are to judge, the people. But in what way? And this is going to give us the answer. The word mishpat, you can see that shoresh, that verb root, showing up again, mishpat. Okay, so now it's in another noun, though. So here we have judges. Here's a noun that's taking the concept of judging and making it into a more of a noun, an idea. And that's mishpat. It's judgment or justice. It can mean either one of those things. So often you'll have this where a verbal root will have a mi added to the front of it to make it into a noun. That happens with mitzvah. So like tzava means to command, but mitzvah is a command. So a mishpat can be a ruling, it could be a sentence, it can be or it could be the concept of judgment or justice. And so they're to judge with a sentence or a ruling. Tzedek is okay. So tzedek is this concept of correctness, righteousness, fairness. It's a very good, correct idea. All right. So mishpat tzedek is a sentence of correctness, or a sentence of fairness, a good justice, correct justice. You get the idea. They are to be righteous in their judgment. Okay, let's move on and do a second verse. We're going to look at verse 19 now. It says, "Lo tatzeh mishpat, lo takir panim, velo tikach shochad, ki hashochad ye'aver einei chachamim, visalef divrei tzadikim." Okay, lo tate. So lo is a way to negate. It means no, but it also can negate a verb. In other words, like make it into not or do not. So tate is to twist or to turn something. And now you'll notice this is in the second person. So it's you shall not. Where it's interesting because here it's like you shall appoint these judges and so on, but now it's like we're starting to speak to the judges themselves, to a specific judge themselves. So lotate, you shall not twist mishpat, judgment. You shall not pervert judgment. Lo takir panim, so you shall not. And then this means to recognize or to know a person, right? And then this word here, panim, is face. So you shall not recognize a person's face. You shall not recognize faces. And that's a figure of speech, which means to show partiality, to say, oh, I know this guy, so I'm going to give him a break. I'm going to judge him favorably, or I know how bad he is. I'm going to judge him. Or I don't like him. I'm going to judge him unfavorably. In other words, true justice has to be regardless of who the person is or how you recognize them or what you consider them, but it should be based on the facts of the case, and on principle, not on the judge's relationship with that person. All right, velo tikach shochad. Okay, and the lo, and now it's negating again. You shall not tikach. So here's another example of where the verbal letters sometimes drop off. The root of this is la kach lamed kufchet. It means to take. So you shall not take. So velo tikach, you shall not take. And what are you not to take? Shochad, a bribe. And so you might think, well, what's wrong with giving gifts to judges and trying to butter them up or whatever? Here's why. It's going to explain to us why taking a bribe is a problem for the judge. This word ki can be translated a few different ways, but it's always describing like a cause and effect relationship. So in this case, it's going to be because. Why not taking a shochad, a bribe? Ki, because hashochad. So ha means the. Shochad is a bribe. Ye'aver. All right, so this is a verb. It comes from this root, ayin vav resh, which means blind. Okay, so it will. So the yod is giving us a sense of it will. And then it will cause to be blind. What will it cause to be blind? Einei chachamim. Okay. Einei, the root of this, or the main letter, the main singular noun is ayin, which means an eye. And now it's in the plural noun construct form. Normally it would be einayim. That would eyes are in a category where you usually have them in pairs. So you use a certain kind of plural ayim that sounds the way that indicates that there are two. So einayim is the normal way, and then it just like other plural words, that the ending changes to a when it's in this noun construct. So we're describing these. We're using this word here to describe this word. So eyes of what? Chachamim. Chachamim are wise individuals. So chacham means wise or a wise person, a sage, you could say. And now it's plural. So chachamim, sage or smart people. So even though they're smart, if they take a bribe, it blinds their eyes. And of course, we're not talking literally, but this is a lot of times body parts are used as idioms in Hebrew. So eyes really referring to perception or the ability to ascertain reality. So they lose their ability to see clearly. Even though they're smart, they are unable to perceive clearly because of that bribe. All right, visalef divrei tzadikim. Visalef is an uncommon word. I had to actually look it up, but it means to twist or to turn, similar to tate. But it's like to divert or to subvert something. So and it will. So the same yod that's in here is the yod that's in here. It will salef, to twist or to divert. Divrei tzadikim. Now it's. So divrei is the, all right, so the root of this is davar, a word or a thing, a matter. And then it would be devarim, like the name of this book of the Bible, words, plural. But because it's in a noun construct, it's changed to a instead of im. So that means that tzadikim is going to describe the word. So it's words or things, matters of tzadikim. This word tzadikim is related to this word tzedek. Tzedek, we said was like fairness, uprightness, righteousness. So a tzaddik is tzaddik is an adjective that means righteous, or a noun which means a righteous person. Tzaddik, and then it's pluralized here. Tzaddikim is righteous people. It's kind of unusual that the yod is missing here. Normally that's there, but it's not that uncommon in biblical Hebrew to do that. So it means the same thing. Tzaddikim, righteous people. So what happens? A shochad, a bribe, will blind the eyes of the wise, and it will divert the words of the tzaddikim. And it's not totally clear. I'm sure the commentators have some comments on what this means, that it diverts the words of the tzaddikim. It could are the tzaddikim, like the chachamim, I would imagine, are the judges themselves. Are the tzaddikim the judges, or is it possibly the people being judged, that maybe their words are being, even though they're righteous, they're correct, they're the ones who are in the right. It's maybe the bribe is causing their words to be twisted in the ears of the judge, and so they're not receiving justice because they're of that bribe, affecting not only the vision of the judge, but also the hearing of the judge, the audio perception, you could say. So that's good for further study. But that's all we'll do for today. Thank you for studying. I hope the audio came through this time. And God willing, we'll come back next week with the next week's Parashah. And until then, Shabbat Shalom.